Daniel Padwick, TRT World.
To discuss the changing environment of cricket in India, let's bring in cricket journalist Suryanshi Pandey. Well, Suryanshi, in a landmark move, India will give both the men's and women's cricket teams equal pay. How significant really is this, particularly considering the BCCI is the richest cricket board?
Exactly. See, when we are talking about the board, which is one of the richest in the entire ecosystem, which has a revenue of around $400 million, then and when we see the World Economic Forum's gender gap ranking of India, which stands at 135 of 146 countries, then obviously this looks like a historic moment for India, because the pay parity is one of the very crucial steps that has been taken forward, as cricket is a religion in India if we talk about sports. But there is always a but, and that but asks for a question, because when I talk about the pay parity, now we need to understand two things here. Now this pay parity, this increase in salary is match fees wise, and then there is another thing which is retainership payment system. So in these two systems, only one thing has been increased, that is the match fees. The match fees of women cricketers will be of equal to that of men cricketers, but the contract, the retainer policy which BCCI runs, it remains the same for women, which was there earlier. And when we talk about that, the grading system there starts from A, and it is 50 lakh INR. And when we talk about men's contract, then it starts with A plus grade and has a money of around 7 crores INR. So now you can compare the two, and there's a lot of disparity when we talk about the contract, and because it depends upon the sponsorship and all those deals. But when we talk about the match fees wise, yes, it is definitely a step forward for parity, pay parity.
Well, as you said, a hugely historical moment, and the response in general has been hugely positive. But shouldn't this have happened a long time ago? Why now?
Yeah, see, before women cricket was in with BCCI, it was in 2006. That was the year when BCCI got women cricket under its ambit. But the problem is, even after 16, or you can say it is like 16 years, we are still seeing a lot of inequality towards women cricketers. And the reason that is mostly being given globally, if I talk about, is there is less viewership, there is less fan following. But we cannot say that, because if we talk about the women cricket, the global history of it, the World Cup started of women's first, and then it was started for men's. So it was 1973 success of the Women World Cup that led to the inception of the Men's World Cup. So we cannot say that the viewership is less, or that fan following is less. Of course it is less in terms of what reason. That reason is culturally, that reason is social acceptance of women as sports players, women as active players, women as who can actually challenge the men's equally. It's not just about challenging, it's about playing the right game, the good game, and they can play that. So if we talk about globally, then obviously there is a lot of reasons because of which women cricket in general, in particular, is suffering. And if I talk about domestic circuit, because we need to understand it, very, as you have very rightly pointed out, that it could have been done earlier. And if I compare it with the Cricket Australia and New Zealand, which is New Zealand, the first country has come up with a pay parity policy, and they have converted not just the international matches for women cricket, but also domestic circuit. Even domestic circuit will be paid equally as of men's, which is not the case in our BCCI. BCCI is paying all those things only for the international cricket, but not for the domestic circuit. So we need to realize that this pay parity which we are talking about, it is a good change. But when we talk about New Zealand, when we talk about Australia, they are way ahead in paying the women cricketers when we talk about the contract that they have, and when we talk about BCCI. And when we say that BCCI is one of the richest board, we need to rethink.
Well, as you say, this really is just the first stage of tackling discrimination. But is it just a token gesture, or will it continue to evolve into a more of a transformational one?
Definitely, I won't say that it's a token. I will say that it's the kickstart of some new changes. Why? Because BCCI is not just coming up with this pay parity on international level, but it is also coming up with IPL. So, and the inception of IPL is expected by 2023, that is by the next year. So when we talk about IPL, then that will also encourage a lot of women cricketers to participate in domestic circuit. Because when we talk about the growth of cricket, we cannot talk about on the superficial level or on the international level, like whenever a player will get an India call, only then it will that person will be paid well. It has to, trickle down to the domestic circuit, and then domestic circuit has to grow, has to be motivated enough so that so that when they get to India call, they will feel secure. So I think the IPL is one of the things which we are looking forward as a very positive change towards encouraging women domestic circuit to come forward and play, because not just international cricket, now they will have a chance to play international against international players in IPL. Then the second thing is under 16 tournament that has been begun, so that also shows that BCCI has real intent to improve the game for cricket for women. But most important is they need to increase the number of domestic matches that Indian women plays, and right now it is not in the shape that it should be. The roster has to be straightened out.
Yes, well, let's hope change continues to happen. Cricket journalist Suryanshi Pandey, thank you for joining. That's all we have time for on this week's edition of Beyond the Game. We'll leave you with some highlights from Game 3 of the World Series, where the Philadelphia Phillies turned their match